Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inspiring Change, the interview series where I get a chance to introduce you to the amazing members of the wellness universe, people who are out there every single day making a positive change on a global level. And today's guest is no different. Please welcome to the show, Beth Bracaglia. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Shari. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here and being part of the wellness universe.
Thanks for having me, and I love being part of the wellness universe.
I love hearing that. Awesome. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what your page is and what's your mission behind it?
Sure. My page is Beth Bracaglia's Simply Inspired. The mission behind it is to inspire and motivate and simplify your life. I started it in 2011 as kind of a companion to my main business page, which is Simply Organized, which is more about helpful hints, tips, and ideas to get you organized throughout your day. But really, I had this whole other piece that I was sharing on my personal Beth Bracaglia just page that was a lot of affirmations and inspiration. And I started thinking to myself, does everybody really want to see this? Like, I didn't know if it felt to be the right place for it anymore. And so I just had this idea to create Beth Bracaglia's Simply Inspired with the intent of maybe a few of my friends following me over there who liked affirmations. And now
that all changed.
1,000 people who visit it. And I mean, to me, it's beyond my wildest dreams of where it was going.
Well, yeah, because you started off with the whole organization thing. So obviously you have organization. That's a passion of yours, I'm assuming.
Yep, that's my job. That's my career.
Okay. So the inspiration and the affirmations and all that, was that something growing up that you always loved, that kind of stuff?
It actually was. Like, not only was I the kid who walked around with the little Dymo label maker. Do you remember those little click label makers?
Oh, they made...
Now it's the P-Touch because it's fancier. But I also loved to go into bookstores and stationery stores. My father was a writer. And so, you know, when I would go out to California to visit him, I would spend my time just looking through really positive books and affirmations. And my grandfather on that side has a really famous quote that I use often that's been hanging on my bulletin board for years, and it's really inspiring. So somehow, maybe that came across too. I don't know, but I just think that really it helped me in the morning. You know, now I do a gratitude journal, but sometimes in addition to the gratitude journal, I also will put a inspiring quote that I've seen somewhere or that's just hitting me that day. So the page became the piece of that were those inspiring quotes and affirmations.
I love that you've taken the different parts of you and you've made them all work. You know, there's not just the organization, but you have the positivity and all that, and you're giving that to the world, to everybody. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So you're obviously in the wellness universe. When you think about the word wellness, what does that mean to you, and how does that play into your life?
Well, for me, wellness goes along with my vision and my thoughts around both Simply Inspired and Simply Organized. Recently took a good look at Simply Organized and realized it was more about simplicity, but still through the root of organization. So I kind of added in a new tagline, and it's called Simplicity Redefined. And to me, that really means clearing away the distraction of clutter, and that allows all of us to focus on what matters the most. Now, what matters most, at least in my case, is spending time with my family and my friends, having those hours in our day that we really cherish. And we all have to work for a living. We all have things and activities that aren't necessarily, you know, they're on the to-do list, but they don't always nourish us. But that other time is what we really want more of. And if you can simplify your life down to it, you can find not more of that time. We only have 24 hours in the day, but we can find more time to do those things. And so wellness, you know, simplicity becomes all about your mental and your physical and your spiritual health. So for me, you know, less is always more. And that equals simplicity, and that's simplicity redefined. It's a long roundabout explanation, but it really is pretty simple when it comes right down to it.
Yeah, and it makes total sense, because I think, people don't realize that when they don't simplify their life and they're not organized, then they start to feel overwhelmed, and then this overwhelming turns to anxiety, and I have so much and all this. And if it always goes back to just let it be, and to everything just being simple. So I can see the relation and how you can see and how that turns into overall wellness for a person. And
right.
I think so many people need your services.
You just said let it be, but how about let it go too? And I mean, physically, there are things that this is a country, specifically the United States is what I'm talking about, which we are we should all be grateful for the things that we have. And we have so much more than so many people, but it's like there's places where I go and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And that's great that you're able to accumulate it, but do you really need it all? And can you use it all? Do you love it all?
Right.
And can you let some of it go and give it to people who need more of it?
Absolutely. So, there's so much to go around and needs to be shared and given, and everybody's life needs to be simplified. And beautiful message. And speaking of messages, if you're given a world stage and the opportunity to share one message with the whole entire world, they're all listening to Beth, what is it that you'd want to share with them?
It kind of goes back to that life doesn't have to be so complicated for us. We don't need to create the anxiety and the stress that we all seem to do for ourselves. No matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, a stay-at-home dad, a working dad, somebody without kids, our lives overall just don't need to be as complicated as we make them to be. When we focus on the things in our life that really matter to us, our lives become just filled with less stress and less aggravation. And the message, it should be clear, but it's not clear, because we're always trying to get to the next thing. And we're not always, myself included, we're not always paying attention to what's right there in front of us. And it's a message that if people heard more, they would certainly start paying attention to it more.
I love that. Love that. Beautiful message. Beautiful message that everyone needs to hear, and now they have. Tell everybody where they can find more of you.
Well, you can certainly find me on my Facebook page, which is Beth Bracaglia, Simply Inspired. I also, if you're interested in organization as well, there is Simply Organized, and that's you can find that at Simply Organized Today, because there's a few of us, so
okay.
Simply Organized Today. And then my website has links to everything, and that's www.simplyorganizedtoday.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being part of the Wellness Universe and giving of yourself every day.
Thank you so much.